Hello, stamping friends. It's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. So today, well, first of all, I want to thank you for joining me today. We didn't have anything last week. I was on a little bit of a break. But this week we have a really special class, and we're going to be featuring the Curvy Celebrations Suite that is currently out right now, and it's available through January 4th. Now, the awesome thing about this suite is part of it is kind of an early release sneak peek to the mini catalog that's coming out, the January to June mini catalog. That will be out on January 5th. So part of this release is a little preview of one of the suites from that mini catalog. Now, the other part of this collection is an exclusive stamp set and paper pack that is only available now for a limited time through January 4th, and it focuses on Christmas as the theme, but it also coordinates with the other Curvy products. So I'm so excited to show you some different samples. Basically, we're going to be featuring both the Curvy Christmas stamp set as well as the Quite Curvy Bundle, and so you'll have lots of different ways that you can see how to put these things together. It's a little bit of a unique concept with the curviness and the layers, which you'll see in a minute. So I'm really excited to show you those. We'll also have a class kit like we normally do, and that will give you a sample of 5 different cards that you can create with these products. So we'll get on with that in a minute. First of all, I wanted to just give you a little heads up because next week we are having a very special one-day, 24-hour Merry and Bright online extravaganza. This is, they do kind of a special annual sale. It's kind of the kickoff to the holiday season Christmas shopping. And for this time, it's going to be nearly everything from the annual catalog will be on sale for 10% off. So that there's a small exclusions list, which I will be posting later today. So I have that, but not too many items. There's just a few items here that are on that list. Everything else in the entire catalog will be on sale for 10% off. So that's it's going to be a great day to purchase if you want to get some kits, card kits for gifts. If you have some stampers on your Christmas list, it's a great time to stock up on stamp sets. Just a really awesome thing. And then I also wanted to point out the thing that doesn't happen very often is normally we don't get discounts on already discounted products. While there are a few bundles and suites on the exclusion list, there are many bundles and several suites. I think almost all of them. There might only be, I think there's only 1 or 2 that are on the excluded list, but most of the suites and most of the bundles will be available for an additional 10% off. Now, normally for a bundle, for example, if you buy the stamp set and the die together or the stamp set and the punch together, you're going to get that 10% off as a discounted bundle price, but you're going to get an additional 10% off of that bundle. And that bundle, if it's included in a suite collection, if you purchase the whole suite, that will also be included at that 10% off price with the additional 10% off on that. So it is a really special sale. I hope that you start getting your wish list ready. I will be posting the exclusion list later on today on my blog, and you can start getting those wish lists ready and really stock up. Great time for that. All kinds of paper. I mean, think of all the stuff in the catalog. That's our huge book. So it's almost everything. And you'll really enjoy that. Okay, let's get on with our Curvy Celebrations special class here. I'm going to flip the camera down, so hang on, close your eyes if you don't like roller coasters, and we'll flip you around here. And let's get everything a little bit lined up. All right, turn some light on. There we go. So let me show you what the Curvy Celebrations collection has in it. And like I said, part of this is an early sneak peek release, and part of this is a limited time offer. So first of all, it starts with the Quite Curvy Bundle, and you'll see that everything, as is very curvy, as the name suggests. And then we also have some really awesome dies that go with it that will cut out curvy little parts and layers. And some of the images that you'll see in the stamp set also have die cuts. So you can cut those out easily, as well as a little foliage, some leaves that you can die cut as well. So these are the featured products in this suite. And this is a set that, or a bundle that's going to be available in the new mini catalog. Then the other two parts are the Curvy Christmas stamp set, and this is exclusive to this time only through January 4th. Has some really cute little curvy images, some little accents that you can also add to your Christmas cards as well. And then there's also the coordinating classic Christmas designer series paper. This is the 6x6 pack. There's 48 sheets in the pack, and there's 3 different colors that are featured: shaded spruce, cherry cobbler, Sahara sand, and then there's 4 different double-sided sheets of each. So you get to see a sampling of, and they're all the same pattern, they're just in the different colors, and then you get the really pretty patterns on the background too. So these are just really nice traditional colors for Christmas and really easy to use with your Christmas cards. And then I ran out, I've already used up my Sahara sand and the stars, but you get the idea. So these are really awesome papers. Now I will tell you, right now they've been so popular, they are on back order through November 30th. It doesn't mean that you can't order them, so I encourage you to order them, and then as soon as they come back in around the 30th of November, Stampin' Up! Will ship those right out to you, so you'll have them in time. So just so that you know that, you might have these on back order when you place an order for them. But I love this paper, so we'll be using that just a little bit. And again, these are only available through January 4th, and then they will be gone. These two are going to be available in the mini catalog, but you'll definitely want to get this right away because it has the really cool curvy dies, and that's what makes this suite so special. Okay, let me get started on our projects for today. You guys are going to love these projects. And like I said, since we have 2 stamp sets that we are dealing with, I'm going to do kind of a little sampling from each one. All right, we're going to start out with some Whisper White cardstock, and I always use the thick cardstock when I'm doing a card base, so we'll have that for our card base. Then I'm going to have a Sahara Sand. We're sticking with the colors that we just saw in the designer series paper pack. So Sahara Sand, and this is the 5 by 3 3/4 inch piece. That's going to be our background piece. I've already cut out a piece of the designer series paper. It's the Classic Christmas is the name of it. And I've used one of those dies with the little dots, the dot pattern, so you can see how pretty that is. I started with a 2 inch by 5 inch piece and just lined that up right across there and ran it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So this is ready to go. Then I also cut another layer. This is Whisper White. I use that same curvy die. And this one, I started out with a piece that was about 3 1/4 inch by 5. So we're going to be layering these, and it's going to kind of look like this. So to do that, I like to cut all the pieces first. That way I know how they're going to fit together, because we want to be able to stamp and kind of position those in place. Now, because I'm not comfortable sometimes with my stamping ability and getting it perfect, I'm just going to put a couple of little tacks of seal on there, and we'll put that on our white layer. That will give me some positioning, but that way if I mess up, I could recut that and do it over if I wanted to. I'm not going to mess up though. Not today. There will be no mess ups. Did I just jinx myself? All right, so we're going to use the little pine tree curvy image from the Christmas Curvy stamp set. And we're just going to go right along that curve. Isn't that awesome? It just goes directly along that line. Perfect. See, I told you. All right, so let's take that and really tack it down this time. So go back with my seal adhesive. And we'll add that right to the top. Okay, next we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add this right over the top, and we're going to add a sentiment at the bottom. So this time we'll use the cherry cobbler and thinking of you at Christmas at the bottom. Ta-da! All right. So we did that. You see that I positioned it so I knew exactly where to stamp. Now we can go back. Oops. And add our layer. And I love how easy these come together. I know when I first got this, I was a little bit intimidated by the different layers and the curviness and everything, but it's just so much fun once you get the hang of it, and it really comes together so nicely. And the curves and the layers of the curves really add a lot of interest to the card. So I'm layering this on a layer of shaded spruce. It's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. All right, before I mount that onto the card base, I do want to add some ribbon. So I have some crinkle white ribbon right here. And we're just going to tie that around into a quick double knot. It's my favorite. It's fast and easy. Don't have to worry about a lot of loops and getting things perfect. Okay. All right, and I think I want to add a little more depth by popping this up. I don't have anything popped up, and you know how I like my dimensionals, so let's add that in a popped up layer right on the top. Get that off the ribbon, otherwise it'll be sliding around. All right. And we'll add this to the front. And then you know we need a little bit of sparkle, right? We just always need a tiny bit. I have the holiday rhinestones here, and there's some shaded spruce pieces here. I'm just going to add that right next to it. So one little bit of sparkle. And there is your first card featuring that Christmas curvy stamp set. So again, this will be part of a 5-card kit. And if you place an order with me at thrucoolstamping.com, clicking on the Shop Now link, just a $35 order using that host code that you see there, 2XN4UMJ4, that will get you the free 5-card class kit. So this will be the first card that you can create with that kit. All right, let's go on with our next card. And this one is a little fancy. We're going to start with a Night of Navy card base. And I have it's scored all ready. And this time I have a piece of the Christmas Gleaming, I think it's Christmas Gleaming or Brightly Gleaming. Now I forget which one it is. But this can go right across here with some seal. This is a 2 by 5.5 inch piece. I love those stars. It has the copper stars on there. All right, so that'll go right across the top. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of those curvy dies, and I want to show you. This is the dotted one that we just used on the other card, and you'll see that it has a blade edge and then the dots. So of course, when you have the blade edge on the bottom, you're going to have the dots on the top. So pay attention to how you're putting that on your paper. For this one, I don't want the dots to show up. I want to cut this card front off, but I want the dots to not be on the card front. So the card front's only going to be really small. So I'm going to just take my my blade edge on the top, and we'll add that right across there, and then I'll run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then that's going to get us this card front. So you can see how I just have the plain edge, and then the other side, which I should have showed you, but you get the idea, has the polka dotted edge. So this is our card front, and we're gonna build on that. All right, next we have a piece of 5 by 3 3/4 again, and I'm gonna just like I did before, I'm just gonna kind of dot that a little bit, just in case I mess up. I'm gonna center this piece, and then we have this. Okay, see what I'm doing here? I'm building that card front, but we're gonna stamp on it. So I didn't want to tack it down completely, because if I mess up, then it's like forever and I have to start over, and we don't want to do that. So we're gonna stamp the top here with some Seaside spray and these really pretty they're like stars in the wind. I don't know. It just reminds me of a blustery winter's day. And let me get these going the right direction here. And they follow that same curvy line. And you actually might want to do this. Let's do this just so that we don't get everything, hold on, running out of hands. We're gonna put our piercing mat below our paper on our work surface. Remember, we like to stamp on a piercing mat because when you're using photopolymer, you have that little extra bit of cushion, and it helps with the transfer of the ink so that you have a nice clean image. So now we can stamp right over the top and get those really pretty stars. Then we're going to stamp an image of the sentiment, "May your days be merry and bright." And this is going to go right here. Ta-da! All right, let's close those up real quick. I like how that's looking. Now I cut another piece, and this is with the Seaside spray, and I started out, let's see, with about a 2-inch piece for this as well. Yeah, 2-inch piece. This time I used those dots, and they go right along that curve, but this time I just used, you know, since it's the bottom, it's gonna be just like that. All right, so I think that's looking pretty good. Let's pop that off real quick, and then we will add some adhesive right there. And this time I'm using the Seal Plus, simply because this is kind of a flap that's going to be open quite a bit. So I want to make sure that it's going to have a nice, good, secure seal. And then I'm just going to lay that right down over the top. And there we go. We have our front flap. Now we're going to add this to the bottom. So this is just going to go right over like this. And this will be the bottom of our card. Before we do that though, we want to do a little bit of stamping. Again, we're going to use that same star wintry wind image, just to add a little bit more depth. And then we will add this to this piece. So I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to use that Stampin' Seal Plus again. I'm going to go right along that front top edge for the top. And then I don't want to get the adhesive along the bottom here because it's going to close the card, you see? So I want to make sure that I put adhesive on this piece so that I don't overlap the adhesive in the wrong place. And then I'm just going to make that flush with the bottom of the card. Line that right up. There we go. So we have kind of a unique little opening there. Thought that was kind of fun. And then we're going to finish this up with just a little couple of accent pieces. I have a little 1/2 inch strip of Night of Navy. We'll put right across the bottom. And then of course we have all that copper. I wanted to accent that a little bit. So I have a little strip, a 1/4 inch strip. Whoops, sticking on there. Let me get that off of there. And I see that I made this just a little bit too short, so I'm going to just kind of cut that off because I'm kind of crazy that way. All right, we have a little piece here of copper, 1/4 inch strip. And for this, I'm just going to put just little dabs. It's kind of hard because it's a little bit slick on the back. All right, there we go. We'll put that down here. It'll kind of finish off the bottom. And I did get a little bit of adhesive on there. You can roll that off with your finger. All right, we're gonna finish up with a couple more stars. There's a little dinky little tiny star that I'm gonna add just a few more in here. So we have lots of stars floating around. You could even add them over a couple of your, or add them to the windy area just to have a little bit of balance there. And then of course we have our copper stars, designer elements. So I'm going to use one of those right here. Whoops, got away from me. There we go. There you go. Then we're going to finish that card. Let me show you real quick how to put the inside of the card in. I already stamped a Merry Christmas sentiment from the Curvy Christmas stamp set and some more of those stars floating across the top. So you want to make sure this is lined up so that it's not, so you can't see it past the front. So to do that, it's going to look like this. So I'm going to flip it right over like this. Line that directly up with that piece. Again, this is a 5 by 3 3/4. And then just close that card. And then you have it so that you can't see it from the front. Kind of fun, kind of cute. Kind of cool. So that's our second card. That'll be in your card kit. And I wanted to share, I didn't do 2 cool versions this time because I have lots of other cards that I want to show you at the end if we have some time. This is where I got the idea for this cool card. This is Kelly Atchison sent me this swap card, and I love her version in Sahara Sand with the real red sheer ribbon. She put a little rhinestone on top of a tree. Isn't that cute? So hers is a little bit different, but I love how she did that. She also used the pine branches across the bottom. That's really pretty. So that was where my idea from that came from. All right, let's move on to our third card. This one, we're going to start to use the Quite Curvy stamp set. So that is this one. This is more of an all occasion stamp set. You're one in a million, thinking of you makes my day, wishing you the happiest of birthdays, hooray for you, made with love just for you, hello. Very, very versatile sentiments. So we're starting with the soft suede card base. And next we have a Sahara Sand. This is a 5 1/4 by 4 piece, and we're going to start building on that. So I have a Whisper White piece. This one started off as about 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Yeah, and then I used the other. There's like 2 curvy dies from the Quite Curvy, And I love this one. This was kind of a fleur-de-lis type of a look. So that's gonna go like this. I have another piece that I cut with the curvy dies. Again, just using that straight edge, and you can use the straight edge from the fleur-de-lis or the dotted one, doesn't matter. And this is using that the classic Christmas paper. So this will go over the top. And let's start building. So this one, let's put this on here first. So this will go right across the top here, just leaving a little bit peeking out. And before we put that down, I'm going to add my sentiment. And this is from the Quite Curvy set, and I'm going to stamp that in soft suede. So I think I'm going to put that right about here. And then we will add that piece onto our background. All right, and this is just going to go flush to the top. I have that adhesive all over now. It's like sticking on everything. All right, before, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna put the ribbon on afterwards. So we'll go ahead and put this on our card base. And I love this card because it's a whole bunch of neutral colors. I think it looks really classy. It's soft. It can be used any time of year. All right, so that's starting out and looking really good. I have some gray granite satin ribbon that I'm going to add to the top. I found that I really am liking the look of having ribbon on the top of my curvies, my curvy slopes. So again, another little double knot. All right, now gray granite doesn't necessarily match all those, but like I said, we're just using a bunch of neutral colors this time. I made it a little too tight. There we go. All right, next I have die cut a couple of the leaves with that curvy dies. We're just gonna add those with some glue dots right underneath this ribbon. So there's one. If you wanted to use some Tombow liquid glue, you could do that. It would tack it down a little bit better. I just want it to kind of hang there, a little bit loose, and be kind of right under that. Okay, cute. All right, let's finish up with a couple of little accents with these birds. These birds are so adorable, and I love that you can color them in any way that you want to. I'm gonna stamp mine in soft suede. Just on some scrap paper here. And they go in both directions, so I love that. Whoops, that's not a good one. Let's try again. There we go. And then we'll color in these little guys with some more neutrals here. So I have light crumb cake. We're going to color this guy's breast in with light crumb cake. We'll add some dark soft suede to the top. If you guys don't have Stampin' Blends markers, you have to get them. They're just they're so versatile. You can use them for so many things. We're going to use the light, or dark, I should say, dark gray granite for the rest of his wing here. And then over here, let's do some gray granite over here. So we're bringing in all of those different neutral colors. And then let's do light soft suede. All right, just to have some different looks. So you can color them any way you want to. I've already used my dies here. There's a little die for each birdie, so it makes it really easy to cut them out. Super cute. And then I think I'm gonna do something like this. And I'm gonna get my mini glue dots out for these. These guys are little tiny guys, so they just need a little mini glue dot, or mini dimensional. And then we'll add just a little bit. Oh, aren't they cute? I think I would move this over just a smidgen. And then we'll add just a couple of pearls. Left it dropping, I don't want that. Oh, Angie, why? Let's do that. Okay, so there we have it. Just a really pretty neutral thinking of you card. I love those little, so thank you, Deb. I love your color combination there. It looks like some petal pink that she has there. Really pretty. Okay, the fourth card. Ooh, I love this one. The last two cards are like my favorite ones. So I'm really liking these. Okay, we're gonna start with our Seaside Spray again. Boop, let's get that off of there. Seaside Spray card base. And again, we're gonna be using that Quite Curvy stamp set. We have a background here. This is a 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have a piece here of the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. This is the other thing that I was noticing about this stamp set. It's so versatile with the images and with all of the sentiments. It's also really great. All these curvy layers are great to use with all kinds of different Designer Series papers. So I was just, that might look really good. So I really liked just the monochromatic look of that Flowers for Every Season on the Misty Moonlight. All right, next I have another piece of Whisper White cut with that Fleur de Lis Curvy, and you're gonna start with, oh, probably like a 3.5 inch by 5 inch piece of Whisper White, then go through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine so that you have a nice curve that's gonna lay right over that floral piece. Now, before we put that down, we're gonna do some stamping on that. So, I brought out the floral piece. We're gonna stamp with Night of Navy. So ink that up. And we'll stamp. I love how it just goes right along that curve. We'll ink it up again. And then we're gonna turn it over and it's gonna follow the top of that curve. Isn't that pretty? So now you have a nice little border. We're gonna color that in with more Stampin' Blends markers. The light Rococo Rose. And you know, I'm not doing any shading on any of these. I'm just using the paint tip, the brush end tip, to add color quickly. So all these little flowers I'm gonna do with Rococo Rose. Remember to have a very light touch, like you're painting, because you don't want to ruin that nib. Coloring is so relaxing to me. I know everyone has kind of a different view of coloring, but whoops. I think I put some pink in when there's supposed to be some green. That's okay. All right, but it's so relaxing. Whoops, I missed one down here. Next, we're going to use Just Jade, and we'll color in the leaves. Really quickly, and the stems for all the flowers. It doesn't take too long to color all of these. And then the other little branch that we have in there, we're going to color with the Seaside Spray just to bring that color in. And just a touch of color on each one of these little tiny leaves. Not much even showing there. You would do a better job, I'm sure. I'm just like really hurrying. All right, you get the idea. Now we can add that to our layer. Oh, I love how that comes together. Okay, we're gonna add that, or before we add that to our card front, we're gonna add a piece of Just Jade, some of the in color ribbon. I love this ribbon, it's so easy to tie. But this brings in that pop of green to bring all the colors together. Again with a double knot. And trim it off. All right, we're gonna add this down here, or push this down here. There we go. Now we'll add this to our card front. And you might wanna use some of the Seal Plus along the edge here, just because you have that ribbon. That's gonna give it a more secure hold. It's not gonna pop up as easily. You could use some dimensionals if you wanted to, like we did on the first card, to pop that up onto your card front. Make sure secure. All right, I'm loving how that's coming together. I have a little die cut here in Whisper White. This comes from the Tasteful Labels. Tasteful Labels dies. And I'm trying to think of what I did with my, aha, here it is, my stamp pad. I'm going to stamp the Made with Love just for you right on my label. Oops, there we go. And then we'll pop that up with some dimensionals. So what are you guys thinking about this suite so far? Are you liking the curves? It's kind of a different look. It's kind of a different thing. So I'm going to add this right here. And then, of course, we need a little bit of bling. You know it. I'm going to get my rhinestones out so we can have perfectly matched bling. I'm going to use my dark Rococo Rose and just lightly color over 3 of those. And then add those to the card front. We'll add one right by the sentiment and maybe a couple more down here. There we go. All right, there is our 4th card. Really pretty. I'm loving that floral. All right, one more card. And I also really love this one because I love the colors. Hope you guys do too. It starts out with a pretty peacock background. And next we're going to add the Forever Greenery Designer Series paper. Remember that from way? I see that we're trying to reconnect. Hopefully we're gonna still have a good connection here. Sorry if your video's cutting out at all. All right, we're gonna add this right along the bottom. This is a 1 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. So now we have our color combo that we're working on. Again, I've cut another white layer. This one you would start with about a 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. Use that same dotted curvy, and that's gonna go over the top right here. We're going to add a couple of things on it first. I have a piece here that, let me give you the measurement on that, 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to add that. Oh, and it's textured with the wrapped in texture. It's almost like a basket weave, mini basket weave. And we're going to add this piece right across the top of this piece. Doo-doo-doo. All right, whoops, I totally misjudged that for some reason. Let's try again. Let's get it straight. We need that to be lined up. I'm just having a heck of a time with this one for some reason. That's better, that's better. Okay, so we have this. That's going to go on here. Let's pick a sentiment that we want. I'm going to do Your 1 in a Million, and I'm going to do that in Pretty Peacock. Stamp, you might want to do it before you put that texture on there. I'm loving these colors. Okay, next, let's see. I guess we can go ahead and put that on there. Let's go ahead and do that. I've noticed that the seal actually works really well when you're doing a little curviness. Our previous adhesive that we had did not do that quite as well, so I'm really liking that that's doing that. Okay, we're gonna add in the focal point. This is just a scrap of white Whisper White paper, and I'm going to use those beautiful leaves. I love this image. Again, another beautiful image to use to color with Stampin' Blends, to do watercoloring, or just to stamp as it is. It makes a beautiful border. So we'll stamp that. And a lot of times when I'm using Stampin' Blends, I'll stamp with Memento Black. That's kind of the go-to before you do, so that you know you don't have to be doing that. So for this one, I'm going to color in all the fun colors that are on our card here. So we'll have just jade, and then you can pick several different leaves to color in just jade. You're going to have soft seafoam, you're going to have some Pretty Peacock. Let me use the other side. You're going to have some Pear Pizzazz. Sorry, it looks like Pear Pizzazz, but it's Old Olive Light. And then I'm going to go through with all the dark versions of that, and instead of doing a lot of shading, I'm just going to outline those veins. So just jade, just outline those veins, give them a little bit of shading. Pretty Peacock. actually use the soft Seafoam dark, so I don't have a darker of that. So I'm just going to use the light of the Just Jade for that shade. And then use my Curvy die to cut those out. And this is what you get. Isn't that beautiful? I am loving those colors so very much. So this is a really pretty little accent we're going to add right over the top. You can add it with some snail if you wanted to. I think this time I'm gonna put some dimensionals behind it and see what that looks like. So we'll just add a few of those on there. Just really dresses up this card. All right. Oh, I love that. That is just so pretty. And then we're going to finish up with a couple of accents here. I have some gingham Just Jade from our, what is that from? Flowers for Every Season ribbon pack, I believe. Again, just a little double knot. Ooh, I love how that dresses it up. I always love a good gingham. All right. I'm going to keep that right there. And then we need a couple of more rhinestones. Let's see. Let's do Just Jade. I'm going to do the Just Jade, and we'll do 3 of those. Again, just lightly coloring over the rhinestones. I did a medium one. And then a couple of smaller ones. All right. What do you think of that one? I'm loving that one. I love those colors. Really, really pretty. So that's the 4th card. Let me show you. I did a Too Cool version of that. This was the first one that I did, which I also love, using the Gilded Autumn paper and some beautiful fall colors, Cajun Craze, Mint Macaron, crumb cake, and soft suede. And then I used mint macaron up here, the linen braided trim for the accent piece. And I just used some champagne rhinestones, didn't even have to color those. I loved this card. I was gonna actually put this card in your kit. And then when I was showing my husband what I was making, he's like, well, why are you giving him a fall card when fall's like, Thanksgiving's next week? I'm like, well, I guess that's true. So I redid it. So you can have this one, and this is more of an all occasion look. So hopefully you'll like that. All right, so that's my Too Cool version. Let's look at all of the cards in the card class so that you can see what you're going to be getting. And where's the last one? Here we go. So here are all of your different, let me put those in a little bit better way. There we go. So you get all the parts and pieces to create all 5 of these Curvy Celebration cards. I said celebration. That's because I'm used to changing the word celebration to celebration. That's coming in January. Curvy Celebrations. So remember, if you place a $35 order at toocoolstamping.com, click on that Shop Now link to get to the online store. Use the host code on that shopping cart checkout page, 2XN4, UMJ4. That's what's going to tell me that you would like this particular 5-card kit as your free kit. So you get all the parts and pieces. You'll just need to add the stamps, inks, and adhesives. Everything else will be provided for you. And I wanted to, before we left today, I wanted to share just a few more of the swap cards that I got, because I want you guys to truly fall in love with the Curvy Celebrations collection. So let me show you a few more. Gather these up. So we were just looking at some fall colors. Here's another beautiful card that is from BJ Peters. I love how she used the rainbow look clear across there, the plaid tidings for the background. Really cute. Next, I have this one. This one is Natalie Travis. million, just very simple. And she used that stamp to fill in the stars there. Again, that's with the Christmas paper, classic paper. This one is Sandy Carlson. She used that Christmas classic paper again with the trees and the spider web mesh, metallic mesh. I love that. It's very wintry. It's not just for Halloween. So don't forget to pick that up. All right, here's another one from Barb Mulliken. You can see some of the dots and stars that she put on the top. Hopefully that's picking up. And here's some of the elements I didn't use. There's that pretty bow. There's not a die for that, but it's easy to hand cut, and then some holly leaves sticking down. Really cute. All right, this one, Susan Campfield. I love this great big bow, how elegant. And I love how the dies, she has the two top and bottom layers are popped up, so you kind of have a recessed area here. And I love how the die cuts really kind of match and correspond with that paper. Pretty. All right, here's another, Leanne Greff. She used the postage stamp punch to punch out that paper. So that's a fun, you don't even have to use the keepsake dies. Quite Curvy? Curvy dies, sorry. Curvy keepsakes, anyone know what that is? That's a little box, a little treat box. I get all confused. All right, how about non-traditional colors? This is fun. This is Kay Kalkop, and she used the Playing with Patterns trim and some purple posy, and this is the Snowflake Splendor paper. Really cute. All right, I love this. This is Getting Creative. Celine Kempton sent me this, and she used that, where is it? She used the pines, this little pine branch right here, to make that whole Christmas tree. She decorated it with the wonderful gems for a lot of sparkle. Great idea. All right, here's another. This one is Tracy Jacobs. And I love how there's a little tiny snowflake stamp in there that she get to use that. There's so many different ways that you can use these stamp sets. So much versatility. All right, I truly love this one. This one is Kim Peck. And I had to look. I couldn't remember where these little polar bears were from. They're from the Snow Globes die. Snow Globes dies, and I love how she used all of the little wintry slopes. She used a little bit of the snowflake sequins, the adhesive back sequins. I absolutely adore that one. Great idea. Great idea. All right, do I have any more over here? I think, oh, I do have a couple more. All right, next one I have is Kay Cogbill. Just a simple congratulations card in a lot of magenta madness. That's fun. And then my last one, to get us in the mood for Valentine's Day, Julie Davison. I love this one. She used that the Christmas classic paper as a Valentine's paper. And I love those roses going across there. Really pretty card. All right, everybody, hope you liked all those ideas. Thank you to all of my fellow demonstrators for sending me those awesome swap cards so that I can share them with you. And again, I hope you have a lot of fun with this Curvy Celebrations promotion. I hope you enjoy both the Quite Curvy bundle that will be in the Christmas stamps and papers that are only available through January 4th. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week for our live class on Thursday at 9 a.m. Join me then. This is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. See you later. Bye-bye.